Yeah, we're about to go. Okay, let's see here. All right, guys, we are live. Hi, everyone. How are we doing? It is Friday. We made it. A week under our belt. A lot of you are going back to school. How many of you have kiddos that are going back to school? Here in at least the Atlanta area, the back to school kind of fever has started. And yes, I had the realization this morning that I officially have two kids in high school. I'm not really sure how I feel about that. Of course, they're for the most part decent kids. We've had a scuffle here and there, but I don't think I'm ready for this. For example, last night, let's talk about last night. For example, my daughter had a party she was invited to. And of course, even though I had had a super busy week, we had to go pick her up at 10:30. So I guess there's more of that in my future, I'm assuming. But anyhow, it's hard to believe July is almost ending. August is approaching. We're getting about to get back into the regular rhythm of things. Wanted to check in with everybody and see how you guys are all doing. If you have any questions or burning things on your mind as your kids maybe are going back to school or you're getting ready to go into a little bit of a different routine in the next few weeks. We had a really great Superwoman Circle coaching session this week. For those of you who are in the circle, Dr. Janelle Kim came on and taught us some Qigong moves and some moving meditations that are easy, especially as the hustle and bustle begins, super easy to do, maybe first thing in the morning or last thing before you go to bed, to really help to calm your energy down and to help balance and center you. And all of that, remember, is so important. I think so many of us think we need like an hour or 2 hours for a self-care or wellness routine, and we're really understanding that it's the micro things that matter. Maybe 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, they all add up and they make a difference and ultimately really help us with hormone balance, help us with energy, help us with our mood, and so much more. But I had again another super intense, super exciting week. A lot of amazing things happening here, both with the center and in the world of Dr. Taz. So keep up with me for sure, because it's all this great content coming your way, and I'm hoping you're loving it. And if not, that you'll help me redirect to content that you actually do want and do like. But the biggest piece of news, of course, and I think we've shared this before, but really ramping up, my book, The Hormone Shift, is now available for pre-order. Super excited about this. I really think this is the hormone Bible that all women need, right? All women need to understand from the age of my daughter, 13, 14, all the way through menopause and beyond, like what your hormones are doing, how they're impacting your overall health, what it means for your metabolic health, what it means for your mental health, and so much more. And again, I don't think we talk enough about all of this. In preparation for the Superwoman Circles coaching session, it was about metabolism, by the way. It was about metabolism and detoxification. And in prep for that, I was actually I always like to look at what the latest research is, what things are saying. And there's a very clear definition of metabolism. And it's very clear. It says what we really need to be thinking about, or what really affects your metabolism. Age is a factor for sure, muscle mass, body fat, hormones, right? But so many times when we're talking about metabolism, the hormone part gets brushed under the covers or under the rug. We don't talk about hormone balancing or what the role of hormones is. And in return, everyone ends up in sort of this like, let's eat less, exercise more mentality. And they end up super, super frustrated because they don't see the needle shifting. Well, what we've seen in practice and what the research is saying as well is that simply is not going to work. We have to shift what we're doing to understand that hormone balancing is an essential part of metabolic health. And if your hormones are not balanced, then you're sort of moving upstream, right? You're like moving against mud to accomplish what you're really wanting to do. So I think staying very consistent with this idea that hormones are the foundation, and you want to build off that foundation, build a great diet that matches that, build the nutrients. This is all building chi or building energy. So that's a very Eastern way of thinking about hormone balancing, or a very East-West way of thinking about hormone balancing. But building the energy around it before we even start to have a conversation around HRT or hormone replacement therapy is the holistic approach to hormone balancing. And in addition to that, you can absolutely balance your hormones naturally. And it kind of makes my skin crawl, to be 100% honest, when people say you can't, because it's not true. And the other thing that makes my skin crawl is when they say you can't check your hormones, because you absolutely can. And you can see with routine checking how something like a diet intervention or a gut intervention really made a difference for your hormone levels. So all of these things are super important when it comes to hormone health, and I talk about a lot of it in my latest book, The Hormone Shift, which again, I tried really hard to dump all my hormone knowledge into it, thinking that I wanted everybody from 13 to postmenopausal carrying that book around, knowing what's going on with their hormones and knowing what to ask their providers in the exam room, when it comes to getting checked out and understanding what these levels are doing. So a huge part of what I've been focused on lately is indeed hormone health, and even thinking about what the right form of hormone replacement therapy is once you've built the foundation of nutrients, gut health, a healthy liver, healthy blood sugar levels, and so much more. So hopefully you guys have who's pre-ordered the book? Has everyone pre-ordered the book at this point? Hopefully you've pre-ordered the book and you've taken advantage of some of the gifts. Some of the gifts we're offering with that, by the way, include 3 months in my Superwoman Circle, which again is private. It's a coaching with every month with a different topic. So we usually are bringing a guest on and learning something new. Then I tackle a particular topic. You have access to those webinars. We're loading it with the latest in information, new guides, new recipes, beauty hacks, really great community. So I encourage you guys to join if you haven't joined. But if you pre-order now, then you actually get 3 months into the Superwoman Circle along with my hormone workbook to help you work through maybe what your hormone issues are, because it's so hard sometimes to get information out there. So a lot of exciting stuff going on there. And then my 12-week course actually starts at the end of the month. So for those of you who are ready, you're ready to meet weekly, you're ready to merge what I'm calling the 5 bodies. Have you guys heard about that before? Where we really want to help you connect the dots between what your physical and hormonal health is doing, to what your mental and emotional health is doing, to what you're doing energetically, and how all of that is almost like a continuum that in turn is determining kind of the choices you make and how you lead your life and what you attract into your life, right? So I remember maybe 15, 20 years ago, and it could be longer, I'm in a time warp, but I remember about 15, 20 years ago, it was the law of attraction, right? That was the big deal. Everybody was reading those books. And then there was The Secret. Everybody was reading that and trying to understand how to bring more into their life. Well, we've evolved since those books, I think, and we're understanding more and more that it's our very vibration, right? It's not thinking something, it's not wishing something. It's like our entire vibrational energy is determining kind of the world we live in, how we function, what we bring in and out of our lives, and kind of the course our lives take. But that vibration, and I'm going woo woo now, so stay with me for just a minute, but that vibrational energy is determined by your physiology, by your chemistry, by your 5 bodies, right? How you think, how you feel, who's in your life, the decisions you're making, all of that. And if we're putting any of those in the wrong place, and if they're not balanced, everything from your hormones to your nutrients to your gut and so much more, then that vibration is not where it needs to be. And you end up making choices that are often not in your best interest. And I don't want that for any of you, because I do know what it feels like to feel good, what it feels like to feel bad, and then that gap in between really changes everything about your life. So it's almost like I always equate it to Gwyneth's movie. I don't know if you guys saw that movie, Sliding Doors. Did anybody see that movie when it came out? It was always one of my favorite movies. And I think the reason it was one of my favorite movies is because it showed how clearly how her life could play out all on the basis of one decision, right? Which train she was going to catch. But the spiritual lessons that she had to learn might have been similar, but her life played out very differently in different places, with different people, and with a different sort of outcome at the end of it. So same thing for you guys. When you're balanced, when your 5 bodies are in alignment, your life plays out in a much different way. But when you're off, when everything is all over the place, then you're going to make different decisions. And you want to live the most empowered, powerful life. And that is what our journey is all about. Now, with every hormone shift that women experience, and I go into this in the book, and I'm pretty passionate about it. I want our young girls to understand what's happening with their hormones, because the foundation is often there. You can see what's going on right there. So, but with every shift, whether you're going from puberty to your 20s, from your 20s to your 30s, from your 30s to your 40s, into your 50s and beyond, with every shift, there's a lesson. It's almost like an evolution. So you go from being very outwardly based, right? So very outwardly based, very outwardly focused. And as you're evolving, you're learning more and you're accumulating more knowledge and more experience and more wisdom. So by the time you hit perimenopause and menopause, you really are in a position to be at the fullest expression of yourself. If you have done your due diligence, if you have eaten the way your body wants to eat, if you have lived a life in congruence and alignment with what your purpose is and what your mission is, then that hitting of 40, 50, 60 is the time of fullest expression. It's the time where you get to present you to the world, not somebody you were trying to be or thought you should be, but the fullest expression of yourself. And if you're not at that place at 40, 50, or 60, well, then we need to do some work. So that's where the 4-hour hormone system kind of came into being. And my idea with that is we would meet every week. So there's a workbook that you work through. We have weekly coaching. We work on every aspect of each of these bodies. And we help you by the end of 12 weeks put all of this together and to really understand the changes you might need to make, or the things you're doing really well that are going to lead you on what I'm calling the journey up. And that's up to your highest self. All right, so I'm going to get out of woo world, but that program is there. If you guys are interested in joining, the links are in the bio. That program starts August 20th, I believe. It's a 12-week program. We're going to meet every Sunday night. And there are a lot of you that are like, either for the circle or for the 4-hour hormone program, are concerned about not making the sessions. Remember, all sessions are recorded and they're going to be posted to the hubs so that you can come back and access them. Obviously, I'd love for you guys to join and to participate in things like that. Is so much more exciting and so much more fun. But if time is a limiting factor, as it is for many of us, including me, then we have to, then those things are available if you want to watch them later and then kind of work through things on your own. So just keep that in mind as well. Okay, I'm seeing lots of questions pop up, so I want to address the questions. Let's go into some of those. And remember, we're on all platforms. And as I'm fielding questions, maybe put in the comments where you're from. I always love knowing where everybody is and what sort of community we're creating. How many of you are here in the US and what city you're in, or how many of you might be international. So just let us know. All right, let's hit some of the questions. Who wants to go first? Let's see.
All right, is PCOS a hormone condition?
All right, question number 1, I don't know if you guys could hear that. Is PCOS a hormone condition? How many of you have PCOS? This is in our family. This is a personal story. This is what essentially made me start the practices at Center Spring and led me on a different medical path completely. I have PCOS. My hair was falling out. I was getting horrific acne, gaining weight. I still have insulin resistance to this day, so I have to eat in a very particular way to maintain everything. But yes, PCOS is a metabolic and a hormonal condition. The goal with PCOS, if you have PCOS, is to be able to identify which hormone pattern is your dominant pattern, right? Because there are many patterns of hormones with PCOS. It's known for the high androgens, but the high androgens are accompanied by high insulin. Some people also have Hashimoto's in addition to having PCOS, and there are many people that also have high cortisol. So for example, my PCOS was triggered when I had, already had a lot of stress and trauma growing up, but then I do college and med school, and I go straight through, do residency as well. And then I go to the ER, right? So I'm doing night shifts, day shifts, flip-flopping, sleeping, not sleeping. I'm all over the place. And the stress was incredible, right? There's financial stress, there's career stress, there's relationship stress, right? Like the whole thing of like who I'm dating, who I'm not, all of that was there. And then worst of all, a healthy diet for me back then was Diet Coke and popcorn, because that was the fat-free era, right? So that was healthy because the calories were low. But all of that was a recipe for a total crash on my hormones, and that's exactly what happened. And so my androgens got high, And I started to have all the metabolic issues that go with PCOS. So that's a long-winded way of saying yes, PCOS is a hormone condition, but it is actually also a metabolic condition. You need to identify your primary hormone pattern and then work to correct that. So your metabolic health, back to where we started, your metabolic health is in the right place. So hopefully that answers that question. All right, next question.
Do you have any recommendations for severe cramps?
Cramps, okay, menstrual cramps, I'm assuming, right? So someone is complaining about menstrual cramps. This is a common complaint. Again, how am I going to answer? You might know me by now. I want you to identify the hormone pattern and then we treat based off that. Menstrual cramps are either high estrogen, you have a lot going on in that endometrial lining, or low progesterone. We want to manage that by doing the things that help you with estrogen dominance. So B vitamins, magnesium, for example, taking those helps with menstrual cramps. Upping your magnesium the week before your period for sure. In addition to that, using things like castor oil packs to help calm those cramps down, staying super hydrated. These are all the things that can definitely help you with menstrual cramps.
And then someone said, thank you, Dr. Taz, 100% agree. Being intuitive to your body's needs solves so many issues.
Very much, for sure.
And then we have a question about estrogen dominance.
Okay, let's talk about estrogen dominance. How many of you know you have estrogen dominance? Anyone know for sure? So estrogen dominance is where your estrone levels are high. Your body, no matter what the circulating levels of estrogen are holding on and storing estrogen, right? So that estrone level's going up. You may have migraines. You may have inflammatory pain. You might be gaining weight. You might be getting fibroids. These are all signs of estrogen dominance. So that's why I encourage everyone to really get their hormones checked. And remember, on my website, you have a hormone guide that you can download and it'll help you understand where you are with your hormone levels. Was there a second part to that question?
Nope.
No? Okay, sorry. Okay, so I think I answered that question. I did see another question pop up on the guys. So I have a lot of guys out there. Let's talk about you. Now, this particular book I've written is very targeted at female hormones, the Hormone Shift, which, by the way, is now available for pre-order. But I feel like I need to write a whole book for men as well because you guys have your own hormone story. And it is very similar to what women experience. In fact, they say men go through andropause as their testosterone declines. Women go through menopause as their hormone levels decline. And both have similar consequences of declining muscle mass, declining energy, a tendency towards depression, and more. So for the men, you kind of need to start in the same place I'm telling the women to start. A healthy gut is the first place to begin for hormone balancing. Optimizing your nutrition, for example, zinc, right? Zinc and protein deficiency actually will drop testosterone levels very quickly. So a healthy gut, a healthy liver. If you guys are out there drinking more than about 4 drinks a week, your liver is having trouble metabolizing hormone. Many of you skew over from testosterone into a higher estrogen state. So believe it or not, men can be estrogen dominant as well. So this whole idea of nutrient, gut, liver as a basis for hormone balancing is universal across men and women and universal across all ages. And so that is why the natural or holistic approach to hormone balancing really is the way to go, because that way it is really encompassing not just your hormone health, but your entire health as a whole.
And then someone said, my estrogen levels are very low. What can I do?
All right, if you've got low estrogen and you are, young and not at an expected menopausal state, remember you're in a depletion state. You're not getting the fat you need, you're not getting the protein you need, maybe you're not sleeping. Something is going on where you are not quite where you need to be. So to optimize estrogen, you need repletion, meaning we need to increase the protein, increase healthy fats, things like a tablespoon of olive oil every day, a quarter teaspoon of ghee every day. These are things that really do make a difference when it comes to building hormone. Building hormone, again, ties you back to your nutrients, right? Make sure you're getting enough B vitamins and magnesium and vitamin C. All of these things help to build hormone for sure. And then I would also say make sure you're sleeping consistently, because in Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine, sleep was a restorative time for hormones. And if you weren't sleeping consistently, that was often the reason for hormones to crash and burn and for hormone levels to drop. Now, meanwhile, there are many herbs that help support hormone building and help support increasing estrogen indirectly. So Dong Quai is one of them, and Shethvari, which is an Ayurvedic herb. I don't know if you've heard of that or not. Have you guys heard of that particular herb before? Those are great for building hormones. I usually put patients on like a gram of Shethvari every day, and that helps to build hormone, and in turn really does help with overall hormone balancing.
And then our final question today is anemia related to your hormones?
Is anemia related to your hormones? So indirectly, anemia is usually more of a nutritional gut issue, and anemia being low in iron, by the way, that in turn will trigger problems with your thyroid. So thyroid levels crash when iron levels go down, for sure. All right, we've got a couple on YouTube. I don't know if we can see those or not. Let's see. Hello, this is from Maria on YouTube. Hi Maria, I hope you're doing okay. You had a hysterectomy 5 years ago, and a month ago they removed your ovaries and your fallopian tubes, and you had a tumor. What do I recommend for you to take? Thank you for all you do. Well, you're welcome, for sure. So a hysterectomy, now a tumor, everything's gone. Really focus on your nutrition. I really feel like you should be on a B vitamin, magnesium. You should probably be on evening primrose oil to really nurture your hair and your skin, because you're going to be in a state of full out hormone depletion. And then you need a lot of monitoring of your bone health, your heart health. Some of these things get affected when we're in a state of hormone depletion. In addition to that, if you have access, I would do glutathione. Glutathione, again, helps to replenish the cells and really helps prevent sort of the hit that the hormone depletion might be causing you. So really getting more glutathione in, whether it's IV or whether it is through a powder or pill form in terms of NAC, might be helpful as well. And then the other question I do want to address on here is Candida. Are you guys familiar with Candida? Has everyone heard that word before? Lots of great videos on my YouTube channel, by the way, about Candida. Candida is an overgrowth of yeast in the gut. And what Candida is doing is that it is skewing the microbiome to too much yeast, which in turn is driving up blood sugar and driving up insulin levels and making us all gain weight. So Candida does directly impact your hormones. So this again is the gut liver thing that we're talking about, right? So the foundation for everybody is really working on their gut and then moving on to cleaning up their liver before you worry too much about hormone replacement therapy, which we can talk about at some point too if that's something everyone's interested in. So Candida, though, I feel like is an epidemic. I'm seeing it in the kids, I'm seeing it in the teenagers, I'm seeing it in adults, I'm seeing it in everyone. So Candida can be managed by diet, but it's not just diet alone, because there are genetics that drive people towards Candida. So the diet, low dairy, low sugar, low alcohol, ideally cleaning these things out, adding in a probiotic, and adding in Candida herbs, right? Herbs that help you fight Candida. And many of these are things like oregano oil or pau d'arco, berberine. These are all things that help you battle Candida. If you are still having Candida, there are patients at Center Spring MD where we have had to treat periodically with antifungals to be able to clear it out. And now we're actually learning that there are peptides, something called KPV, that actually helps you to control the amount of Candida, which I've even put my daughter on because she continues to have a recurrent issue with Candida as well. So Candida and hormones are connected. Candida and estrogen dominance are connected. Candida and insulin resistance are connected. So see how it's all intertwined, and that is the beauty of East-West medicine and thinking through how the gut and the liver and your nutrients impact your hormones, and then how your life, your 5 bodies, back to that, impact how everything is going to play out. So hopefully that answers your questions and is helpful. So thank you for those of you who are on YouTube. And I see we've got folks from South Africa, some people from Brazil, obviously people from the US. So I think people are coming in from all over, which is super exciting. And I love that idea that we're building community and hopefully a supportive community. So if you haven't joined the Superwoman Circle, check it out. It's drtaz.com/superwoman. And if you haven't ordered my latest book, The Hormone Shift, go ahead and get your copy. Take advantage of those pre-sales offers. Can't wait to see you in the circle. I can't wait to see this book everywhere so we can really change the narrative around women's health and hormones and make a difference, not just for us, but for generations to come. So we're truly helping people set up, their health for success so they're not bumping their heads against the wall for 10 years trying to get answers and trying to understand, why they're breaking out, why they're losing hair, why they might have acne, why they can't get pregnant, why they're gaining weight. I know how frustrating that is, and we really want to change all of that. So I saw one last question. I do want to address it because it's a personal one and then I have to jump off. I'm so sorry, but we'll do this again. It was a question about hair loss, right? What else can you do about hair loss? So remember, hair loss, tie it to your hormone pattern. Find the hormone pattern first. Losing from up here and hair just coming out, that's your thyroid. Thinning hair that's brittle, falling out everywhere, those are androgens. Hair loss from right here, it's estrogen and progesterone. A receding hairline or round patches, that's autoimmune. Got to understand the type of hair loss you're dealing with, and then maybe try my Lush Locks, both the shampoo and conditioner along with the supplement together. Renourishing the scalp microbiome, has ingredients like amla and faux tea to regenerate hair and to reverse inflammation, and then a lot of micronutrients that are helpful as well. So check that out. Those are available on theeastwestway.com, and put those together. Give it at least 60 days because remember, the hair follicle has about a 4-month life cycle. So you're not going to see major changes for about 60 days because it takes that amount of time to regenerate a new cycle to see new hair. So I hope that question is helpful as well. All right, we went a little bit longer today, but I think I got everyone's questions answered. Don't forget to order your copy of the Hormone Shift, now available for pre-order. And hopefully I will see you guys in the Superwoman Circle, where you have a private Facebook group. We do webinars and coaching sessions, and we'll have a whole new slew of content this August focused on detoxing, back to school, and perimenopause. All right, I'll see you guys there. Take care.